Hi everybody, welcome back. There's actually, now if I can find the stinking, there it is. I was going to say, I know it's in the back of the book, but like I mentioned before, I'm going to actually read a couple of stories out of here. The first one I'm going to read is going to be in this video. The second one, because I have comments I want to make about that one, and then comments I want to make about this story in this video and the next video. Also, as a side note, granted, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of videos, and I know Mad Bad Voodoo isn't too fly with multiple video uploads, but on this one occasion, I think you'll understand, because I actually have something to say this time around. And like I told him before, I was running out of stuff to say, but coming out here, I get inspired. Well, anyway, this story from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is called The Hook, and this ties in with my book. Donald and Sarah went to the movies. They then went for a ride in Donald's car. They parked up on a hill at the edge of town. From there, they could see the lights up and down the valley. Donald turned on the radio and found some music, but an announcer broke in with a news bulletin. A murderer had escaped from the state prison. The murderer was armed with a knife and was headed south on foot. The murderer's left hand was missing. In its place, he wore a hook. "Let's roll up the windows and lock the doors," said Sarah. "That's a good idea," said Donald. "That present isn't too far away," said Sarah. "Maybe we should really go home." "But it's only 10 o'clock, said Donald. "I don't care what time it is," Sarah said. "I want to go home." "Look, Sarah," said Donald, "that guy's not going to climb all the way up here. Why would he do that? Even if he did, all the doors are locked. How could the guy get in?" "Donald, he could take that hook and break through a window and open a door." Sarah said, "I'm scared. I really want to go home." Donald was annoyed. "Girls are always afraid of something," he said. As Donald started the car, Sarah thought she heard someone or something scratching at her door. "Did you hear that?" Sarah asked as they roared away. "It sounded like somebody was trying to get in." "Oh, sure," said Donald. Soon they got to her house. "Would you like to come in and have some cocoa?" Sarah asked. "No," Donald said. "I gotta go home." Donald went around to the other side of the car to let Sarah out. Hanging on the door handle was a hook. Now, just as a reminder, I did read this more or less verbatim out of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Not that I plagiarized that story, but what it is I've got to give some perspective on this. What happened is, back when I was a senior in high school, I actually wrote a Kentucky-fied version of that story I just read to you. I didn't, like I said, I didn't plagiarize it. I just used it as a jumping off point. I did not use the names Donald and Sarah. I actually wrote about me and a friend of mine that I had at the time named Heather, who, if you've watched some of my previous videos that I've of course since deleted, I talked about her not being exactly the brightest bulb on the marquee. I wrote about her and I going to visit a friend named Hawk, who lived in Louisiana or Texas, that I met the year before, in 1989, when I went to a youth camp out in New Mexico, who I haven't seen in, the better part of 20 years. I hope he's okay wherever he is. But seriously, that story, I revamped it and made the story a little more, accurate on like the street names and stuff, and changed where we were coming from, Heather and I, and who was in the car with us at the time. And I had to think, if I can get the information that I requested in that last video and get the book published, I do encourage all of you to actually buy my book, okay? But anyway, I'm going to pause here and read the next story and tell a funny story about it, okay? So hang on, alright?